Hi, I'm Lillian, and this is my updated curl routine. So first of all, you need to start out, I'm going to get right to it, by the way. First of all, I just got a shower, but you need to start with dripping wet hair. Now, my hair is not like that, and I'm telling you, it needs to be dripping wet, mainly because you do not want frizz, which my hair is already frizzy all the time, like no matter what. But I've tried it with I lost my thought. I used to not do dripping wet hair, and it did not work the same as it is. So anyway, let's get right to it. So first of all, I split it, my hair just, simply into 2 sections. However, if you have very thick hair, you might need to split it into more. However, my hair is getting pretty thick now because I need a new haircut. So first of all, I got my water, and I'm gonna, as I go, I'm gonna show you what I do, and then, let's just get right on to it. So first of all, you need to start with dripping wet hair, and my hair is already wet because I go to the shower. And today's Monday, so I didn't go anywhere today, but tomorrow I do. I have to go to school tomorrow. So I don't do my hair in the mornings anymore. So what I figured out is if you what you do is at night to get your hair to stay like it is. What you'll do, or what I do, is I scrunch my hair with some hair oil, and then I, flip my head over and my hair over, and, I use, hold on a minute, I use scrunchie. I don't have a satin scrunchie yet, which I'm gonna need one. You flip your head over, and, you just do your head once through this, your hair once through it, and then, your hair will be right on top of your head. And then I put a bonnet over my head. So then it works. And then what you need to do in the morning, it takes like 5 minutes. You need to refresh your hair in the mornings. What I do is, I just dampen it a little bit and then put just a little bit of mousse on it, and then that's it. So I don't have to get up as early in the morning to do it. And a plus to this is that it's like it don't take as long. So I used to get up at 5:50 in the morning, and I only get up at 6 o'clock, which, and then I leave at I can get up, I don't know. And then you need to do your roots too. You need to put water on your roots to make sure you have your whole head wet. Now, it's important, and you're gonna get your shirt's gonna get a little bit wet. Okay. Now that my whole head is wet, I'm gonna pull you right over here now to the sink. Okay, wait. Okay, so first of all, which I may pause the video and whatnot, and do my hair or something, and finish it up, or I don't know. So first of all, I use the Marc Anthony Strictly Curls curl lotion. I'll show you I don't really like curl cream per se. I like this one. They do have a curl cream, but this is a lotion. It's not the same thing. And I'll show you, it's the consistency of it. See, I wet my hands, and then I put some of it, oh, I got hair. My hair just likes to go everywhere. I'm telling you, in the shower, it's bad. That's why I had to get I take a shower upstairs in this bathtub thing, and it has like a little thing overhead. So I use about that much for one side. And see, the consistency for this is different than like the cream. So then I just rub it in my hand, and then I comb it through my hair. And then I scrunch it. And you hear this sound? That's the sound you want. So I'm gonna do my whole hair like this. And then I'll be right back to the next step. Okay, so I'm done with that step. I scrunched it and everything. Now it looks like this. So the next step is mousse. I use the Kinder mousse. You know, I've used it, you know, for years. It's the only, I actually haven't used another one. Like, this is the only one I'll ever use. So, and I usually, I don't know usually where people get this, but, you know, my grandmother's a hairstylist, so we usually go to a place that you can only have like a hairdressing license to get it. So anyway, so now I wet my hand and I put a whole big gob of mousse in my hand. Hold on, I'll show you. And it also, on how much it depends on how thick your hair is, how much hair. So I usually use that much for one side, see? And then I go through my hair. I just comb it through my hair. I don't really comb it through my hair. I just, you know, hold on to it so I can. And then you scratch. Yeah, I got it on my face. Anyway, whenever I get the other side done, I'll be right back again. Okay, mousse is in my hair, and this is now what it looks like. So this next step, I just started, you know, about a week ago, I'd say. And I've noticed a really big difference in my hair. You know, it's staying throughout the day and everything. It's not like it used to be. And a lot of people don't want to use it, but I'm saying it's a big difference. It's a big game change. So I use the Not Your Mother's Curl Talk gel. So now the Not Your Mother's has, you know, two different kinds of gels. They have the normal gel, and then they have the flash freeze gel, which I have. So this is the extra strong hold, which I have thicker hair. You know, it just depends. But the original, see, there's this little bar right down here. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the other one is a 3 on the scale. But then this flash freeze gel is a 5, which is extra hold. Which, you know, I need each day. And, oh my gosh, look at my shirt, how soaking wet it is. But that's good. So what you're going to do, this stuff, I don't comb through my hair. Gel is harder to use. So what I do, oh, that's my shower. Okay, so I wet my hands again. And this stuff I use about that much at a time. You know, it just depends. And then I'll scrunch it in my hair. And you know, it's sticky. Which is good, because that's the extra hold. And you know, I put some more on it too. On the same side, I just wait. Make sure I get it thoroughly through my hair. Make sure I get my bangs too. Now, a lot of people use like curl defining brushes. I don't use it, but I think it would be probably a good thing for me too. Okay. Okay, once I get the other side done, I'll be right back again. And that's what it looks. See, look how good it looks. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, I'm back now. And I have all the products incorporated in my hair now. So now you're gonna take a towel and dry your hair out. This is also important, which could also be the I need a hair towel or something, or a microfiber. Some people say you can use t-shirts that work well. Some people say that works well. But I don't have any of that. Like, I don't have any bad t-shirts or anything. And you know, there's different materials of t-shirts. So I don't really know which one to use yet. I might get me like a hair towel, because towels can like incorporate frizz too in your hair. You know, it can be the cause of it. But this is also important to dry your hair out, because it's soaking wet. You're never going to be able to, you know, diffuse. You're never going to be able to dry your hair out with the thing anyway. So I just like scrunch it up into my hair. And also, the thing is that this thing gets all the, because now, see, look at the difference between them. See, see, now that gel is in this, and then after this, you're gonna need another one. Need another towel, hand towel or something. So that's why I'm probably gonna get a hair towel or something. Some people say microfiber, but I feel like that would just, I don't know, microfiber feels too weird for your hair. I don't know. Okay, now the other side. Okay. Now that I have my hair all dried and everything, what you're gonna do is it's time for diffuse. See, I let this dry now. I just lay it out, let it dry, and put it in the washer. So now it's time for diffusing. This is also important, because once your hair, it's gonna take, well, you can air dry it too if you want, but it takes way too long. So what you're gonna do first is what to do first is hover diffuse. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna like hover it over your hair first before you start to diffuse. And then say like this. I get that just a tad bit dry, I'll be right back. Okay, I hover diffuse maybe for like a minute or so. And so now we're gonna see there's already starting to create a cast, like a gel cast. And a gel cast is also super important in this process. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick up some hair or whatever, and then you're gonna put it on here. And you don't wanna start your dryer down. You don't wanna start your dryer before you pull your hair up. So you're gonna pull it up, and then you're gonna turn your thing on. That also helps the frizz, which I don't know what to do about frizz. My hair is also super frizzy. I have no clue why or what I'm doing wrong. Who knows? So anyway, I'll show you what it's like. You're gonna pull it up and turn it on. And then you're also gonna be here like maybe 2 minutes or 1 minute or a few minutes. I don't really know. I don't like to hold it for too long. I don't know. Maybe it's just a little bit hot. And then you're gonna do that all around your head. Okay, I'll I'll be back after I'm done, maybe after a while I'm doing this. Hi, I'm back. So I diffused it some, but not all the way, you know. So some people, what they do is they flip your head over, right? I'm gonna do it in a minute. And then they diffuse it upside down. Now what this does, it gives you volume, or if you have flat hair. So I'm gonna do it a little bit to show you what it's like, but I don't really do it too much. I don't really know. Sometimes you can. So you pull your head over like this. Okay. And then, I don't know if you can see me. You might not be able to see me all the way. And then you diffuse it upside down like that. And then I'll come back whenever that's done too. Okay, so diffusing is done now. And this is what it looks like, right? So it might be just a little bit wet, but it's not really wet. It just looks wet because there's a gel cast on it. So a gel cast, you know, it's kind of like, it's like a cast. You know, it has it's crunchy. And that's important, I think. So I'm gonna wait till it kind of like fully dries, or you know, you don't have to wait, but I'm gonna wait for a bit. And then what my saying is you scrunch the crunch out. So what you do is you take a hair oil, dropping it. So you take a hair oil. I use the Kenra hair oil, and I'm not gonna do that yet. I will come back and do it. And then what you take is some of it, and then it takes the crunch out of your hair. And then whenever I do the oil, sometimes it's, you know, it may still be like a little bit wet whenever I put the oil in. So then what I do is I wait, you know, I put oil in it at that time. But then later, maybe an hour or two later, I don't know, it just depends, maybe 30 minutes later, I take just a little bit more on, you know, put it in my hair. So I'll be back whenever, you know, it's kind of dry and nice. I'll be back soon. Hey y'all, so I think my hair is mostly dry now, kinda. Not as bad right in here. It's a little bit damp. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. See, my hair, it does look really wet, but it's not. So I'm gonna I use the Kenra moisturizing oil, like this. So what you do is you put some in your hand, run it around, and then you scrunch it. And then you do that. I'm almost out. And you scrunch the crunch out. I don't know where I heard that, but you know, rhyming, it describes what I'm doing. Okay. Now it might still be a little bit crunchy after, you know, it's all dry completely, but you just put just a tad bit more on it. Not much. Okay, that side's done. See, look at the difference between that and that. Big difference. You do that, son. And that out of it. Let me go get me some more of it. You know, it might take a few minutes to get it out, but you know, it's all worth it in the end, because look at my hair. You know, this routine might not work for everybody, but it's what works for me. You know, it's just kind of like a trial and error for everybody, you know? I had no clue my routine But you know, and I still have some things to figure out in my routine, like the frizz part. I don't know what to do about the frizz. It might just be my hair top. And now I'm gonna do the back. And my roots might, you know, you don't usually put oil on your roots, but you know, just some leftover oil to get sometimes there might be a little bit much. So now that is my routine. And then tonight, what I will do, hold on. Let me wash my hands. My hands are oily. Hold on. That is not good. Okay, so tonight, what I will do is, hold on, I have it right here. See, remember how at the end of my diffusing, I flip my head upside down? That's what I'm gonna do. And then I take this scrunchie, and then I gather it all up, and then just, you know, put it over like this, just once, not anymore, not like a ponytail. And then it's all like up here on top of my head. And then what you do is I take this bonnet, and then I put all my hair in it while my head's still upside down. And then it's like this. Hold on, I have a picture of it somewhere, but I don't have my phone. So then it'll be like this on my head, and then I go to sleep like that. And then in the morning, what I do is what I'll do is just dampen my hair just a little bit, and then I'll just scrunch a little bit of mousse in there, you know. If the part's messed up a little bit, I'll straighten my hair up. And, you know, just, you know, get it all going. And it won't look exactly like this. It will probably look a little frizzy. But it's worth it. Look at this. And, you know, I used to not love my curly hair. But I do now. I'm, like, embracing my curl. Because, you know, I'm the only one in my house who has naturally curly hair. And so, like, you know, I had to learn to do it all on my own because, you know, I didn't know how. Because whenever I was little, like, I was in kindergarten, I had, like, straight hair in kindergarten. And then I think in first grade, like, I cut my hair, like, pretty short. And then it just, you know, curled up. And it was pretty good, see? In first grade. And, you know, I kept cutting my hair kind of shorter. But I would kind of like to sleep. Mostly, I kind of like to sleep and not. And I'm definitely not going anywhere. But anyway, that is my curl routine. Thank y'all for supporting my YouTube channel. And thank you very much. Bye.